Hello, welcome back. So far, we have learned how to use a Docker, how to use a Docker file, how to run the Docker container based on a Docker file. So now let's go ahead and make some improvement in our code base so that we can make our application more better and more robust. So let's get started. Okay, so far we have this couple of files, app.py and Docker file. So now let's go ahead and make some improvement in our code base. So to start with, let's add a couple of new files. So let's add the first file, let's say requirement.txt file. And here we'll add a couple of dependencies. So we have been using Flask already, and we're adding Flask more REST because it will help us write REST APIs more easily and help us generate the documentation for us. And we'll use this python.env to load the environment variables. For now, like let me go and add new file first. Can say dot flask env. So let me add a couple of things here. Basically, application for this Flask will be app, which is basically app.py, and Flux debug. So when we run our application in debug mode, it will help us with one size error message, and also it will help us in the auto reloading. That means whenever we make a change, it will reload the application. Okay, and we use this python.env to read this env file. Okay, so these are the two files. Up until now, we were using our shops list as a database, but for now, let's go and create a new file, db.py, and let's add a couple of entries here. So we can say shop equal to an empty dictionary, and you can say products, which is equal to an empty dictionary. Okay, so let's mimic this as a database for now. So this will be like we will use SQL database later on in this section. So for now, let's just mimic this. Okay, so with this, let's import our shop from db import shops and products. Okay, and now we can remove this. Okay, so before we start, let's update this slash shops because it should be singular. Any endpoint should be singular, not plural. So let's update these shops to just simply shop. Okay, let's start with this first endpoint, which is basically listing the shops. So here what we can say now is let's return a dictionary. So we can say shops. So it will basically return the list of shops dot values. So now if you see, our shops is a dictionary. So now if I want to convert the dictionary to a list, then I can convert it by using like this. Okay, and also let's update our create shop endpoint. So basically now what we have to do is like instead of appending to this, like what we can say now is let's update this. So let me say this is a shop data. Okay, and now I want to create a shop ID. So an ID should be an unique ID. So let's import UUID. Okay, so now our shop ID would be basically UUID dot UUID4 dot X. So this will give us the unique ID for this particular shop. Okay, so now let's create shop data. So we'll say shop is equal to basically we will add all the data which we are getting from the request JSON. So to do that, we can use this double star. So when I say star star shop data, this is simply same as copying, like we are shallow copying the data from this shop data to this shop. And also we are appending a new field which is ID in this particular shop. So this will be basically shop ID. Okay. And now let's update our database. So we can say shops and shop ID, which is equal to shop. Okay. And let's return the shop. Cool, right? Now we need to update this part because we have its own database now, products. So instead of getting from this shop, let's just remove everything and let's just say simply product. Okay, so here, so we have this new product. Okay, and let me remove all this, and now let's check if the product this product is present in the shop or not. Yes, so to do that, we can say if new product, and here we can check the shop ID. So if this shop ID is already, sorry, should be in the string. So let's check if this is not present in the shop. Okay, not in shops, then in that case we can say shop not found, right? And now let's assign a product ID. So we'll use the same UUID, and now we'll say product is equal to, let's use copying, shallow copying. We'll say new product and we'll assign a ID to it. This is basically product ID. And then let's update the product database. Products of product ID is basically equal to product, and let's return the product. Okay, and also let's update this get shop by name. So here So instead of shop name, since we are assigning this shop ID now, so we will be coding using this shop ID. So let's change this shop ID. So now we can just say get shop, right? So this is get shops and this is get shop. Okay. So now what we can say, there might be a case when we don't find the shop, right? So we can use try, and here we can say return shops dot, and we can find the shop ID. Okay. We will accept for the key error. Basically, this shop ID may not present in the dictionary, right? So in that case, we will return shop not found. Let's remove this. Let's also remove this comment. We don't really need it anymore. So now we are using our database shops and product, right? So far in section, we have added a couple of files, Flask env, where while we run the Flask app, it will go and read this Flask environment. And also we added a requirement.txt file where we will add all the dependencies of this project. And also we have added db.py, which will basically replace it in the future section with a real database. But for now, we are mocking the database. And also we have updated our endpoint from shops to shop. And also we have updated all the resources to use the database basically. So hope to see you in the next section.